Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm trying to make a quick video here and it's pretty detailed. Hopefully we can get through it without any kind of mishaps or getting off our point and topic. But today I watched a video on a guy shooting a ported gun, and he talks about the pros and cons of shooting ported, the arguments against it, the arguments for it. He does a really good job, and he gets all the way to the end of the video and he starts talking about ported pistols for concealed carry. And he kind of gives his negative and don't really go into some things I've covered on my channel. So I want to cover something. And he says the most negative thing that bothers him about shooting or carrying a ported gun for concealed carry, the most negative thing is the retention shooting under stress. When somebody is on you and you're trying to shoot up close, the gases and the debris coming out of the ports can injure you, right? And so we do talk about that on the channel, but I want to go into some other things as well. I don't know of any other channels that cover this. And so I want to give this information because anytime you find a little niche where information is not being given, then why not really cover it well? And maybe somebody else will pick it up and a lot of people will not get injured or will have a different point of view. I'm not saying that this is the best way. I'm saying based off what I've learned and some of the things that I've tried out and some of the things that I've kind of put to the test, I think this is a good technique. And I want to talk about it a little bit more, and I want to give you even some reasons why this technique may be good even if you're not using a ported gun, okay? So even if you're using a standard gun, I think this technique is pretty good. There might be some people that can think of some arguments against this technique, but overall, I don't see those arguments really weighing against the pros of this technique. So it's raining outside. I'm sorry. You might hear some rainfall in the background, but we'll do the best we can to kind of cover this. So I'm going to pretend like this post is the bad guy, the threat, because I'm not going to go out on the range. I just want to kind of show you some things really quickly and see if we can't kind of give some information, and hopefully this will be something you learn from. Although my channel may seem to be boring to some of you sometimes, that's okay. I feel like a lot of people will learn different things from sometimes what's considered the more boring content, and that's what we want to do. We want to teach people. We want people to learn. Even if I'm not giving you the perfect technique every time, maybe you'll learn something about my technique that you can incorporate into your technique that may be better than mine. That's okay. But let me show you some things. And what you see on the internet most of the time, and this is a real bad issue, because most of the time what you see on the internet from retention, and I've never seen nobody do it different than this, and that is where they'll like hold their hand like they're defending from a knife fight or a gun fight, or kind of trying to deflect punches or whatever. You know, they'll like hold their hand like this, and they'll hold the gun up to their body like this or to their side like this. And I want to tell you some reasons why I don't think that's good, even from a non-ported handgun, a technique that's not good even for a non-ported handgun. So one reason why I think that's not good is, think about it. So you're putting this gun against your body. Whether, you might can go back here, but I don't think most people do. Most people put it right here against their rib cage and tight to their body. And when that happens, when you pull the trigger, the gun's going to come up, the slide's going to come back, and there's only about 1.5 inches between the slide and my body, okay? So as that slide reciprocates and the gun's pushing back into your ribs or into your body, even if you're over here, it could do the same thing. It could come up like this, and that slide could hit your body and not want to load the next round. I don't think that's a very common thing to happen, but I do think you are definitely adding a significant chance of that happening when you do it that way. So keeping the gun vertical is making there be a chance that the gun will hit your body, the slide will hit your body, and the gun will not reload the next round, or it will have a failure to completely feed or not fully into battery type malfunction. So I just want to cover that first. And I don't know why people think that because you train and you shoot a gun always with the gun vertical and the sights lined up, you do that because you're looking at the sights. From retention, you're never looking at the sights. It doesn't have to be vertical, okay? So I want to kind of bring that out. That's the reason why people try to keep the gun. It's like they're keeping the same technique for shooting at distance as that retention. And that's the only reason I can think of why they do that. And I'm going to give you some other reasons why I think that's bad. So it can cause malfunctions, the possibility of causing malfunctions. Also as well, let's say that you've got your hand out, you're trying to block your face from getting hit, or more than likely, I see this technique a lot, but that's not really realistic. I've never seen somebody do this when they've got a hand, you know, in a self-defense situation when they've got a handgun or a knife out. I don't see that happening. But more than likely, you're going to be like this and pushing the guy away. So what happens when you hold the gun vertical at retention is if you're holding your hand out, as you're pulling the trigger, the gun is coming up, and let's say that you're under stress and you're trying to pull the trigger as fast as you can. What happens now is you have your hand in harm's way. So if you're trying to push the bad guy off, or you're trying to push at his chest, or you're trying to push at his head, or you're trying to slap him, push him, you know, push him down, fight off some kind of weapon or whatever, now all of a sudden your hand is in harm's way because the gun is vertical. And the gun, when you're pressing the trigger as fast as you can to get this guy off of you, the gun can come up and you could actually shoot your own self under recoil. The gun is definitely going to recoil like this, and depending on where your hand is at, trying to defend yourself and guard yourself, if the gun is vertical, like our technique at distance, then the gun could possibly come up and actually muzzle our own body. And that's something we definitely do not want to do. So I'm just trying to give you some cons. I've never heard anybody ever talk about this, and maybe they have, but it's just been going through my head, and I wanted to share it with you because this guy's video, he was talking negatively, and he didn't give some of my points I have given in the past. So I wanted to kind of cover these things. So the gun, even a non-ported gun, this vertical retention could cause the slide to hit the body and malfunction. If you're using your other hand to fight off the bad guy or try to disarm him or try to keep a weapon away from you or keep a gun or a knife or whatever, then you could put your hand in harm's way as you're pulling the trigger to try to get this guy out of the fight because you feel like your life is threatened. So as you're pulling the trigger, this gun's recoiling because you only have one hand on it, and the gun could come up and you're pulling the trigger as fast as you can. You could make the gun go off at the wrong angle at the wrong time, and the bullet could actually come through and hit your hand and injure you as well. So you're putting yourself in harm's way. Now my technique for ported guns kind of covers all the bases as far as that goes, and I'm going to tell you some other reasons why it's good. There may be some negatives. Please feel free to leave those in the comments, and we'll think about it, and maybe we can come up with even better techniques that maybe don't allow those to be issues as well. So my technique has always been, and I've done this in IDPA several times, I've taught friends how to do this with their ported guns in IDPA. We've had some stages in IDPA where our target, we start out, the buzzer goes off, the target's like right here, and we have to draw the gun and shoot it within 2 feet, 1 or 2 feet, and shoot it a zone shot. And this is how I taught myself and friends to do this with a ported gun, because IDPA now allows ported guns. So when you draw the gun, you come to your body almost like you're lifting a barbell. You know, this is the strongest way to grip something anyway with one arm, is because that's how you lift furniture. This is how you do pull-ups. You know, you do it like this angle. This way is not as strong. This way is. So you want to do just like you're gripping a barbell. That's how you want to grip your gun. At 3 feet or closer, there is no need to aim. Your brain's going to put the gun where it needs to go, close enough to where it needs to go to where you should not have to worry about aiming. So this vertical to aim, it doesn't matter. Doing this or this doesn't matter at 3 feet or in. Okay, guys? It just doesn't make much of a difference as far as accuracy. I've never missed an A-zone shot with my technique of turning it sideways. When you turn the gun sideways, you can grip the gun with more strength, one-handed, especially if you're a smaller guy. I'm not a huge guy, so I can grip the gun with more strength like this. And what happens is, if I'm using my hand right here, see how I'm using my hand? The gun is now recoiling out. The gun is recoiling out. So I do not have to worry about the gun recoiling up and worry about getting, and also, I didn't cover this a while ago, so let's go back a little bit. When you're shooting from retention like this, and you're like fighting like this, and you're kind of leaning and pushing, and you're keeping him from getting you down on the ground, right? So you're kind of leaning forward. Even as it's recoiling up, it comes dangerously close to your face. So even if you're not ported, the gas that's coming out of this barrel and stuff is awful close to your face. I don't like that. So that's another thing to think about as well. But especially your hand with the gun recoiling like this, your hand can get in the way. But when you pull the gun from retention and you come out like this, just like you would lift a barbell and you're doing curls or whatever, put the gun like this to your body, the magazine up against your body, the magazine, kind of the mag well or the mag area right here, the magazine area, bottom of the magazine, kind of up against your body. If the gun's ported, all the gases will be going out away from your body, completely away from your body. You don't have to worry about it at all. You don't even feel it. You don't hear it, feel it. You can shoot it like this all day and it does not bother you. So when the gun's recoiling, you've got a better grip because this is a stronger position for your body to put more force on its grip. Okay? So you got a better grip, so the gun's not going to move as much. So you can probably shoot it faster. And your brain's automatically going to line it up. You can try it, take it out, train like this, and see what you think. But if you hold it like this, you don't have to worry about using this hand as much. Now, you can still get the hand in the way of the muzzle, don't get me wrong. But if you're fighting off a weapon or whatever, more than likely, you're not going to have to worry about that muzzle rising and hitting, you know, your fighting arm while you're shooting the gun. Also, right here, when the gun is against, when the magazine is kind of more against my body, the slide has plenty of space throughout here to reciprocate. So the chance of malfunction is a whole lot less. And I know I'm going a little too deep in this subject, but I'm kind of wanting to cover all the bases and let people know why I'm saying this or why this technique is so important or actually kind of cool to me, and it's not talked about a lot. So I kind of want to cover it very well. So when the gun's recoiling, you don't have to worry about the slide hitting anything. Whereas if it's up against the body, depending on what angle you're trying to shoot, you know, this slide may hit the body and cause a malfunction. Sideways, ported or non-ported, you don't have to worry about malfunctions. It's close to the body. You can defend it well because this arm is very strongly tucked into the body, and you can kind of turn and shoot the gun and fight off with this hand, okay? And you don't have to worry about muzzling your own body. All right, guys, that's the main thought of this video. Made sure I used a training gun because I knew I would be putting my limbs in the way of the, I guess, the technique I'm showing. So I wanted to show you with this training gun. But I hope you got something out of it. If you can think of any other information that's good and helpful with this, let me know. It's like I said, my problem is every time I see a video talking about retention, most of the time, especially with ported guns, they're always talking negative. They act like there's no other way of doing it, and there is. And there's a good way, and it's been proven. I've proved it in under stress, with time being important. I've proved that it works, and I've also showed you some other things that can help you even if you don't carry a ported gun, that this method actually does better than the way. And 90%, at least 90% of the videos I've seen from retention, people are holding the gun vertical and they're holding it close to their body. And there's several problems I have with that. I'm not saying they're huge problems, but you definitely get rid of them when you turn the gun sideways. And I've never had to worry about missing the target at 3 feet or closer. Okay, guys, if you're at 3 yards, you want to start punching the gun out at 3 yards. But when you come closer than 5 feet, that's when you want to start pulling into retention. When the enemy or the target or the threat is within 5 feet, you want to start bringing the gun closer to your body. And when they're within 3 feet, you want to tuck it in. And this technique, if you tuck the gun in and turn it, you don't have to worry about the slide hitting your body and causing a malfunction. You don't have to worry about ports shooting gases out in your face. You also don't have to worry about the muzzle flip coming up into a body part that you're trying to fight the guy off with. Okay, guys? So that's another thing. And you should think about other things when it comes to retention. Retention shooting should be trained. It should be thought about, because I would say half of self-defense gunfights are going to have 1 or 2 moments where you're within retention range. Okay? So most gunfights, when it comes to self-defense, a lot of them are going to have that retention range fighting zone, happen during that fight. So these things are important to think about. God bless. Have a great day. I hope you'll like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you've learned anything from this video, especially if you're carrying a ported gun. Think about retention. It's not a problem. Just train the right way, and I think you can overcome the little issues that you can have with a ported gun. God bless. Have a great day.